look at a aspect of my life, and I was thinking this month with fitness and health, but it's actually the month for me about building my character or focusing on my character. And so, what your character is I've got my notes here. So, if I look down, it's just because I'm looking at my notes. But your character is your mental qualities that are distinctive to you as an individual. And the thing about your character is it's fixed and it's definitely changeable. And it's just that a lot of people don't actually sit and think about what characteristics they want to show to the world. And so for me, the person that I want to be is a very important aspect of my life. And as a mother and as a wife, I take this aspect very seriously. And so I've written down a few of my own personal characteristics for this, not just for this month, but really looking at the ones that I really believe in for my life and how it's really helped me evolve into the person I want to show up as in the world. I've always been someone who actually loves public speaking and sharing knowledge and reading and changing and learning and applying other people's uh, thoughts and ideas and seeing if they work for me. And so, some of the biggest ones that I've come across in my life is what I'm going to be sharing with you. And yeah, just not just even as a mother or a wife, but just as a human being showing up in this world. And I don't believe in doing what everyone else thinks or doing something because it's socially acceptable. I've always kind of been the rebel. Most of us are told that you have to have a 9 to 5 job and, buy a house and do all these certain things. And I always question those sort of things. And having been a rebel, I've only actually had a 9 to 5 job once in my life. It was for about a year, and I needed to do that to know that I could and to learn whether or not that worked for me. And it didn't. And so I know that now. I know that I'm someone who, yeah, loves sharing knowledge in my own way. And I'm so grateful for YouTube. I find it quite fun to come on here and share my thoughts. And so these are my personal characteristics that I'm choosing for myself and my life. And yeah, some of them have really changed my life completely and how I show up. And the first one I have on my list is drop the drama. So a lot of people choose to create drama. Sometimes they don't even know that they are consciously doing this. And I can speak as a woman. A lot of women create drama to connect, or sometimes even to bring another person down so that they feel as though they're the stronger female. And so I've been reading a lot about female psychology and behavior and why we do what we do. And I'm someone who's very much drama. It's like I have an allergic reaction to drama. I don't choose that in my life. And most people have probably come to realize that if there's a dramatic situation or someone's trying to create drama, I cut off from that person is kind of my personality trait. It always has been because I don't want anything to do with that, I think it's a waste of time and energy. But a lot of us who don't sit and reflect on our lives don't even realize we're doing it. And learning the correct communication with being able to say, I don't accept that behavior, because it can be tricky with friends and family that you want to keep in your life, but you no longer want to invite drama in. And for the men out there, I don't know, I'm not a man, but having conversations with men, it can be a really big turnoff of the women in your life. And a lot of the time, women try to drag the men in and they don't want to be a part of it, because that's not how a man's brain necessarily works. And so they kind of turn away from it, and women are like, why aren't you being a part of this? And so, yeah, one of the number one things for me is I'm very drama avoidant. And I don't think enough of us are. And even though I avoid it as much as possible, people still try to drag you into it. But our peace is our number one thing in our lives. Peaceful people have, they have the abundance, they have uh, amazing quality of life, because they're using their energy, the drama. And a lot of us, well, I won't say a lot of us, because, but I do know, especially in social media and things that we're viewing, like, drama is what brings people in, and people do connect, because a lot of it can be like entertainment. And so I really personally enjoy watching dramas, but that's where I keep it, because even watching it, I'm just like, what's the point? What does it create, except for people who are using it in and show things. So you probably won't, if you're looking for drama on my YouTube channel. I'm sharing more about success and sustainability of success, and I don't think relationships do well with drama, and the tiny nuances of drama as well. Like, it can be the smallest thing that will draw you in, and so it's something we have to be very, very cautious of. And also, I have two small children, and I don't want drama in their lives. I want them to thrive and really enjoy their time with people, and not talking about other people. One moment, speaking of my little children, darling. There you go, my darling. You can draw a monkey. Okay, darling. He's doing some drawing, helping him see some thing of monkeys. He's really enjoying monkeys at the moment. And speaking of that, my next point is my personal character that I embody is prioritizing quality time. I've been reading a really fascinating book right now, actually about parenting, but it is a beautiful book just in general. And it's the Danish way of parenting. And they are considered the monkey, uh, the most happiest people. And one of the aspects they were saying that prioritizing quality time actually reflects on your well-being. So it's one of the number one predictors of your well-being is how much quality time you spend. And so the only caveat I would say is that it's really important who you're spending this quality time with. So going back to point number one, is that if you're spending quality time with people who are creating drama in your life, uh, creating drama between you and, say, your significant other or you and your children, those people should have very minimal access to you, and unless you communicate with them that this is just something that you don't do in your life. Um, I really, as a mum, and why I haven't gone back to like a full on uh, clients or anything like that, is because I really prioritize my children. I have two kids under the age of 3. One of them is sleeping, and one of them is at my feet drawing a monkey. They are my absolute priority because if I don't raise these beautiful humans to be the best beautiful humans they can be, then I'm creating a generation of unhappy people. And I think there's already enough unhappy people in the world that I don't need to create more unhappy people. And my relationship with my husband is also the number one priority because if we're not happy, that also negatively reflects on our children. So, our number one, besides keeping out the drama, our second is prioritizing quality time together and making sure that we are a very strong family unit and hopefully being an inspiration for other people because I don't know about you guys, but I grew up not seeing one healthy, happy relationship. And that's a big thing to never have seen a really beautiful, strong relationship. It wasn't until my mid 20s that I saw a really beautiful couple, and even then, they didn't have any kids together, and they'd come together in later life. But their way together was really beautiful, and that was my first instant. So it wasn't the perfect role models for me for what I wanted in my life. I knew that I wanted to get married and have kids and be a stay-at-home mom, uh, still with money, still sharing with the world, still being an inspiration in my life to others who see me as that. But absolutely, oh no, what happened? He's, hang on. There you go. It's just got some background music, sweetheart. You, you don't want this sound, okay? Uh, and so, yeah, really focusing on making sure that my relationship is something to aspire to by prioritizing time with my husband is has been one of my top characteristics, is especially in our day and age where there's a lot of things that pull us away from spending quality time with each other. So my husband and I have realized that what we as quality time together is actually quite different, and being able to not change the person but both receive that feeling of quality time. So he often feels, from what I understand, is that just being together for him feels like quality time. And for me, it's like I can't just sit and watch TV as a way of feeling like we're having quality time. But if he wants to watch something and relax from his day at work, then I will read, and I can feel into that. Okay, we are being together, and I'm doing something for me, and he's doing something for him. And we go on lots of walks and coffee dates, and we go outside and play with our kids. And so just making sure that each person is filled by that cup, and also my kids making sure that they feel like they're being seen and heard and from me, and playing with them. I don't have to play with them all the time because I'm teaching them independent play as well. But being there in the room or being close by if they need me is a very important characteristic for me at this point in my life. Uh, so another thing touching on the no drama is being really peaceful. So that's a huge characteristic for me. And I really focus on the ways that uh, to make that things that make me feel really peaceful. So I've had some really amazing conversations with people about the interconnectedness of beliefs and values and religions and all of that. And underlying, I think one of the major essences of what those teachings are is one moment, and you gotta go. If you can't do this one, sweet, I have to find another one. Okay. Yeah. How about you find? And so is peace, like underlying what I understand from all of these religions and beliefs is that people ultimately are sharing how to feel peace, how to feel and create peace in their life. And so I focus on this in my as my characteristic of being a peaceful person. And I've often been told, like, to use an example of a client that I have right now, they mentioned to me that I'm the only person that really can come into their house and they don't feel like I'm taking energy away from them. A lot of other people, they feel really tired and exhausted afterwards, and that's because one of my main characteristics is if I'm at peace, other people are at peace around me. And the things that I do to keep my peace is I keep really low stress levels through my sleep. So having two small children, they do sleep through the night now, which I'm very grateful for. As I said, I have two kids under 3, but they do both sleep through the night. And so we really prioritize sleep in our house. We prioritize naps, and we're teaching our kids that their behavior isn't wrong. It's just because they're tired a lot of the time that they're feeling the way they're feeling, and then it's okay to take naps. And we really prioritize that in our family. If someone needs to go and have a nap, it's time to have a nap. And a lot of the time we do that together as well. And especially maybe if we've gotten up early and it's the weekend, we'll have that together. Or I lie down with my kids, and they're actually what have they got, 4 months left. They've been on opposite sleep schedules, so it's been interesting the way we've been incorporating that. But my son, you can work it out, darling. My son actually will tell me if we're out and he's in the pram that he's tired, and he'll have a nap in the pram, like if we go to the shopping center or something, which I think is a really beautiful quality. Okay, sweetheart, it's not working right now. Mummy will help you soon, okay? Yeah, help you soon. And so sleep for us is very important, and also eating well. So this is one of my, if anyone has read, what book am I thinking of? Oh, I'll think of it. But in a specific book, they were talking about what people really prioritize in their life and how sometimes people can do it to a detriment. So I've always prioritized eating well, but sometimes to my own detriment, and working through that one. But I've really found peace with that. Yes, darling, it needs a charger. You can try and find it. And so, yeah, eating well. I've really found a nice, which I'll be sharing as soon. What I have shared a couple of videos about what I do but I feel like I really have found the right thing for me, and I'm helping other people with that too, because there's certain aspects that I think helps everyone. Soon, my darling, I will come with you soon. And so eating well, I think everything stems from eating well, because the way your brain needs energy to think and function is very important for every aspect of our life. And each person, of course, is slightly different of what they need, but that should really be a primary focus. And so, my personal character is that I prioritize these things to bring me peace. I also do deep breathing when I lay my kids down for a nap or for bed. I do lots of deep breathing. I've also taught my kids this, that when they feel overwhelmed or if they're having emotions, to really focus on their breath and bring themselves back to themselves. And I think that is a beautiful quality. One moment. Let me go down off the bed, sweetheart. Come in, my darling. My little one's just waking up from a nap. He's a little bit sweaty. And so, yeah, darling, I got you out. Yeah, and so that one. Yeah, and so when they feel emotions, just teaching the kids breathing, and they do it themselves now. It's incredible. Sometimes I just hear my little one, this one here, he just goes, and I think like we could all learn from kids and their ability to take on exercises that they know. I don't want that one up here, sweet. No, thank you. That one says you go find yours. I now have both kids in here with me. I'm in the playroom. Yeah, I'll help you soon, darling. You go find it. And so like keeping my peace when I'm doing this and my kids are here with me. And also most of my life have been quite an anxious person and really moving through all of that. And so now, yeah, my characteristic is in every moment being peaceful. Yes, baby. If you can't find it, can you find something else, please? And okay, sweetheart. And also, I put on this list, which I've just talked about, also is building a loving relationship with things and food. So a lot of us are, maybe you don't love or don't love your job or certain things, but there is a time, place, and season for those things, and coming to a place where we can really have a loving relationship with those things in order to build the next step. So we're focusing so much on what we don't have and not focusing on what we do have right now. And a huge thing for me has been really building a loving relationship with food. I feel it's pretty prevalent for everyone in our society, but for me and my life, I didn't have a loving relationship with food, and really finding that place and finding what works for me. And I feel like I've come to a place where I have a loving relationship with food. And another characteristic that I have is that a lot of people like to sweep things under the rug and just let people get away with things and bad behavior and things that we don't want in our life. And I can tell you now, I'm a very blunt person. if you cross me, you either get downgraded in my life, yeah, you'll get less access to me, but I'll also, in the right circumstances, share and enforce my boundaries with people, because a lot of people aren't calling out uh, in a kind way, aren't calling out other people's behavior or just sharing, hey, that's not what I personally accept. And the person doesn't even know they're doing it half the time. Uh, I have an example of a family member where that person was really annoying everyone else when we would spend time together. And I just shared, hey, like, you're really annoying everyone. I love you, but you're really annoying everyone. And they actually found that that was, uh, eye-opening, and also appreciated my honesty, because, other people would just stop talking to this person, or not share. No one was sharing that, the reasons they didn't want to spend time with this person. And I was just like, I want to spend time with you, but you're just, kind of annoying everyone. And so in the spaces and time and circumstances, it can really work in your benefit to just share with someone that, hey, this is not okay. And on that line, if you're disrespectful to me or my husband or my children, you're gone. Disrespect, well, actually, respect is one of my highest values of people. And if I feel that I'm being disrespected, I'm sorry, you're just gone. Sometimes I give people based on the situation and their level of whether they're, sorry for their actions or not. I may give people second chances, but that's just one of my hard lines, is disrespect in my character. I'm very rarely ever disrespectful, and even if I was, I would reflect and apologize. And so that I just expect in return. I don't expect a lot of things, but in my life, respect is definitely one of them. And so, in that line of vein, I always see the goodness. One of my characteristics is I'll always see the goodness in everyone. Uh, but if someone crosses that line, no, it might be their upbringing, but it just don't allow that in my life. And so I also set high standards for myself and for others. Why? I take, like, one of my biggest focuses in life is being successful at everything. And I've had a few fun, interesting conversations with people, like, isn't that trying to be too perfectionist, and all that sort of, those fine lines. But for me, success in everything, it almost feels like, why do something if I don't do it to the best of my ability? So I keep a very high standard for myself and for others. But in saying that, I also make sure that people understand why I do that. And I guess, hi Dylan, and I guess sharing this information, if friends or family or someone want to know more about me and my thinking and my beliefs, then maybe they will see these videos sometimes and understand. I do have these conversations with people of why I do what I do, but I just hold everything and everyone to a very high standard. And if you fall from that standard, I don't punish people unless, like I said, it's disrespectful, and I reduce the time that person gets in my life. But internally I hold that high standard. I expect people are going to be kind and enjoy and dropping the drama and wanting to spend quality time together and looking out for my best interests until they don't. I'm also, although I have that high standard and I do see the goodness in everyone, I also can be very distrusting of people, but not in a, I don't believe it's in a negative way. It's as in, I am going to watch the people around my children and not just trust everyone blindly, making sure that my family is very safe. My husband and I have been having these conversations of like, who do we trust? What would we allow in our lives for our boys' safety? And so those conversations we have openly and regularly. And so also in my life, I look at the big picture. And so if I've come across something I might be feeling stressed about, I will look at that thing and I will really think, will this matter in 5 years' time? So maybe someone annoys me and I think about it and I go, is this really going to matter in 5 years' time? Because if it's not, then I'm not even going to pay it any attention. Where your energy and time go is so important. If you're trying to create a successful life, really giving yourself time and space to think about the way you want to show up in the world and how you would like your world to reflect back at you. So I look at the big picture. And, if my kids are being messy or my husband leaves his clothes on the floor, like, is it really going to matter in 5 years' time? Is it really worth getting stressed or losing my peace over? And very often not. So I just leave it alone. And especially if something, rather than getting annoyed by someone else's action, if it's annoying me, I just do that thing. So if something isn't being put away and it's annoying me, I don't really want to change another person because that's their choice. So I just, put that thing away and then it's not annoying me. And then I'm not getting into power struggles with my kids and my children. It's just not worth the energy and the time. Everything I do in my characteristic, and always has been, is growth mindset. I have a really strong growth mindset. I think I've had a lot of successes, a lot of miracles, a lot of amazing things happen to me because person. And rather than getting bogged down in the everyday things of people, I look at the growth mindset with those people I want to keep in my life. Like, how do we grow past whatever's happening? And knowing that I don't always have all the answers, and knowing that I'm always learning, and like being easy on myself, and knowing that the answers will come. I think being really kind to ourselves is a very important characteristic, because if you're kind to yourself, other people are more likely to be kind to you, and also it's a ripple effect. So if people see that you're kind to yourself and you take care of yourself, and then it gives them permission to do the same. Another big characteristic of mine, and this one's been really hard, I'm telling you, I don't know where it comes from. I'm a very stubborn person by nature. I don't think by nurture, I think apparently I was born this way. But I'm a part of my characteristic that I'm really building is not having to always be right every day, because I do like to be right, and I do, hi gorgeous, I do like to I like to think that I have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge, and I like to add that to conversations, but it has not been a successful trait. And so I am really focusing on not needing to always be right. And also not always giving people, even if I have the answer, not always giving people that answer to something, letting them come to it on their own, or letting them share what they think the answer is before I jump in. So I now am sitting back and waiting until someone asks me for the answer. And even then, I'm really, really cautious because a lot of the time they don't even want my answer. And this is why I do work with clients, because I think I've been drawn to that style of helping people, is because when someone is, yes, darling, it is though. When someone is in my personal space and they have paid for my time, they listen to my answers. And so in my day-to-day life, I don't, even with my kids, I let them just figure out things for themselves. And it's not till like the very, very last minute of them really wanting my help, or if it's something that they need me to demonstrate to them for the first time, then I'll help them. But yeah, in my every day-to-day life, honestly, I don't give a lot of my opinions except for this, because this is the right environment to give my opinion and thoughts. I hold a lot of that, like, as my cards close to my chest. And so, yeah, it's only in those like coaching environments where it's agreed upon that I'm giving answers. And a lot of the time, like, coaching isn't even about my answers, it's about the other person's answers. So sometimes I'm coaching and helping someone specifically on a specific topic, and even then, I don't give my personal experience. I help them unleash their own answer. It's when I'm mentoring someone in a this. I don't know if you can hear that, but my kids love music. Uh, and so, yeah, if I'm mentoring someone in a specific area, say it's like successfully finding the love of your life, which I've done, successfully investing, I've done, successfully having easy natural births, I've done. So I will give people my personal opinions and experiences on that. So actually giving people advice is something that I really keep close to my heart. And so a part of that is not always having to be right. And I may work on that one until the day I die, but right now I feel like I am doing a pretty good job of it. And that's why I needed a platform like YouTube and creating courses and coaching, in order to be able to share those things where I am. I know my information is probably right. Hello, hi, how are you? Welcome everyone. Thank you for being with me. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. I hope you're all doing really well as well. And another characteristic that I really adopted in maybe the last year is background information, is I read this on Instagram, and I really it was about business, and it was saying if if you need help. So like if you're making under a certain amount of money, and answer if you're above that amount. So it was kind of like, if you have the information answer the questions, and if you um, if you're earning under a certain amount, be the one to ask the question. So I adopted this to my everyday life, and that was to um, I'm so sorry to hear that, Queen. I'm sending you so much love. Um, that must be really hard and tough. Um, Thank you so much for choosing me to be the one to join here. And yeah, that's really a hard thing to go through. I fully feel that with you, and I'm honored that you're spending your time here with me while you're grieving that. Um, yeah, it's really sad. I couldn't imagine going through that. I've only lost a few people in my life. Um, I hope that you get all the tools and resources you need to get through it. And thank you for sharing that. Um, but uh, just to go back to what I was sharing, I like to ask questions to people who have more knowledge than me, even if someone's older than me. So I like if someone younger asks me for advice, I do like to share it in the right circumstances. But I really, when I'm with someone older, I always sit and ask them the questions because they've gone through so much personal growth and change that maybe they don't have the exact life that I would like, but I can learn so much from what they share. So someone in my life who is older than me sat and I said, "What is the advice that you would give to someone my age about?" There's a bit of a in my generation and buying a first home, unless you generally have a two-income household and you work really hard. Here in Australia, and I hear a lot of the world, it is difficult to buy your first home. Uh, and so the conversation was like, it was easier for the generation and the generation before that to buy a house. And I think I've shared this before, but I even asked my grandfather, who died 2 years ago. He died at 92, and I did ask. He said, like, back in your time when you were my age, like, how long did it take you on an average income to save up and buy your first home? And he said it only took a year to save for a deposit. And apparently here in Australia, I think it's something like it would take my generation 10 years to save. So the gap there is huge. And so I was asking someone else in my family the same question of, like, what would be, they had bought their house really young, and like, what advice do you have for me? And the way that person lit up, because no one had asked them that question, and it made for a really nice connection. So I know a lot of the time, if someone is older than me, even by a year or something, even if there's someone younger than me that has valuable information that I don't have. So quite a few of my members of my family, thank you, thank you, beautiful boy. Quite a few members of my family had kids before me, and so I asked them a lot of questions because, hey, 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 baby, can you help your mom? Jackie's okay? Are you okay? Yeah, he just tripped on a toy. Yeah, I'll ask them a lot of questions. And I might not always use the information, but it's so valuable for us to share information and get different ideas and have first hand testimonies. And so my life is just really about gaining knowledge in all areas. That's a part of my characteristic, is just really about having that knowledge and not taking anything on board unless I've really trialed it and used it and had success at it. I often won't share things and aspects of my life if I haven't personally had success on those. But I do think my character over the last few years has really strengthened, and I'm also not becoming the person that people want me to be. So, the character of not being the people pleaser and following my own heart and my own desires. And yeah, I hope this information has been valuable. Thank you so much for joining me. I did go through a stage where I was doing a live a day for a while, and that was really fun. And then I had a 6-week break from socials and all of that, and from apps. And so I'm coming back on, and I'll see how I go. Um, Here in Australia, it's Wednesday, and we're going away over the weekend, so I'll see how many I can get in. But thank you so much for joining me. I have a pretty big YouTube goal for between now and Christmas, so if you would like to help me out, please like and subscribe. Uh, yeah, and just, yeah, thank you so much for your time, however long or small it is. Thank you for being in my world, and I hope you all have a beautiful day.